Hello, I'm Reagan. I'm taking you through some of the things people are talking about and the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today.
There will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known.
Leaked video of a U.S. news presenter goes viral, fueling conspiracy theories about Epstein's death. This seemingly innocent photo gets an airline pilot fired. It's a dream for many teenagers. We meet a guy who gets paid to play video games all day long. And the charity project turning scrap wood into kennels for dogs in Turkey. First up, the Epstein conspiracy. It seems British royalty is now being dragged into the U.S. sex scandal. Jeffrey Epstein died in August while awaiting trial for child sex abuse. And a U.S. news presenter, frustrated because her network refused to let her report on the case, vented just before she went on air. Well, you know how things going with media. That rant was leaked online. But what she said has shed more light on the dark and dirty lives of some of the world's most powerful men. Newsfeed's Adama tells it like it is.
Months after Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in a New York jail cell, reports on how the wealthy financier lived in the shadows as a convicted sex offender and accused sex trafficker linger in the headlines. And now, leaked footage of an ABC News presenter venting over the US network's refusal to air interviews of Epstein's accusers 3 years ago is going viral.
First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways.
Britain's Prince Andrew has been called many things: useless, shady, and a man with dodgy business connections. Buckingham Palace has already distanced itself from him over his friendship with Epstein. Andrew denies allegations he had intercourse with at least 2 young women Epstein used in a sex trafficking ring. That's all in the report news presenter Amy Robach says she was forced to sit on for years.
There will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. I had it all 3 years ago.
Before his death, Epstein was awaiting trial for sexually abusing dozens of underage girls. The coroner officially ruled Epstein's death a suicide, but conspiracy theorists don't believe he killed himself.
Do I think he was killed? 100%. Yes, I do. Because he made his whole living blackmailing people. When I heard he was found dead, I knew immediately.
Now let's have a look at some of the things that caught our eye on social media. We warn you, this video is jarring. As you can see, a man gives flowers to Junius Ho. He's a pro-Beijing lawyer who is campaigning for Hong Kong's upcoming district election. Coming up anyhow, the man reportedly gives Junius a few compliments just before reaching into his bag. Then this, take a look. The man reportedly pulled a knife out his bag and stabbed Junius. Several people, including Junius, then pinned him to the ground. Authorities say the attacker is an anti-Beijing activist. Junius was taken to the hospital for treatment. Now, this may be a peace sign with the fingers, but it's caused an uproar within China's Civil Aviation Administration. That's because the rules forbid passengers or unauthorized personnel from entering cockpits unless approved by senior management. That didn't stop one pilot from letting this young woman strike a pose. She posted it online with the caption, "Thanks to the captain, so happy." You know, maybe it's true what they say about managers trawling the internet to see what their employees are up to. This pilot's been banned from flying for life. Next up, we have Edward Snowden. He's the whistleblower who once said that being called a traitor is the highest honor you can give an American. He also took part in a web summit this week and warned people that intelligence agencies are still using the internet to eavesdrop on our private conversations. I mean, think about that for a second. It means they know where we are, who we're with, what we're saying. And what's more, a new report by rights organization Freedom House says government surveillance has only gotten worse since Snowden went public in 2013. Freedom House says nearly 90% of the world's internet users are being spied on. Big Brother is watching.
We have legalized the abuse of the person through the personal. We have entrenched a system that makes the population vulnerable for the benefit of the privileged. Yes, these people are engaged in abuse, particularly when you look at a Google, an Amazon, a Facebook. But their business model is abuse. And yet every bit of it, they argue, is legal. The problem isn't data protection, the problem is data collection. Regulating the protection of data presumes that the collection of data in the first place was proper, that it was appropriate, that it doesn't represent a threat or a danger, that it's okay to spy on everybody all the time, whether they're your customers or whether they're your citizens, so long as it never leaks, so long as only you are in control of what it is that you've sort of stolen from everybody.
Now, let me be honest for a second. When I was a child, I wanted to be a biologist. My friend wanted to be an astronaut. Well, turns out young people these days are ditching the traditional dream of becoming a doctor or a lawyer. They're now going digital. Today's youngsters are turning to the internet to find the perfect career. Here's what I mean. A 23-year-old Australian dropped out of university where he was studying sports science, right? To, wait for this, sit at home and play video games all day long. And he's earning up to $50,000 a year. Now, that's what I'm talking about. And now, I mean, the times have changed so much. Take a look.
Like many gaming fanatics, Alex Hockings live streams himself playing video games. But with one big difference, he gets paid.
This is actually my dream job. You know, people want to be astronauts, people want to be doctors or whatever it is, but this is what I've really wanted to do.
The 23-year-old works 6 hours per day, 6 days a week, and has 116,000 subscribers on YouTube.
The likeness that people give me here is just insane.
He started making gaming videos from his bedroom in 2014 as a hobby, but they became so popular he quit university.
Now I'm in the position where, you know, I can actually do this as a career as opposed to just a part-time hobby.
In 2017, esports fans watched 1 billion hours of videos on YouTube every day. And the platform says the number of channel owners earning 6-figure salaries is growing every year. Some schools in Australia are even teaching students how to make online content.
More of them now want to be content creators across digital platforms like YouTube than move into corporate jobs.
If the only thing we're doing is preparing them by getting to do the follow standard curriculum, then I think we're abandoning our responsibilities to them.
It's something that we all use, and using it in a school environment really benefits us because we know it.
But like many in creative fields, not everyone will make money.
For every me that has worked out, there's in excess of thousands of people who have tried and haven't made it, unfortunately.
Well, here's some other stories you need to know this Wednesday. We are facing a climate emergency. That's a desperate plea from more than 11,000 scientists. They warn that mankind will endure untold suffering if we don't radically reduce the amount of carbons we release into the atmosphere. Well, one of the main challenges is proving this to skeptics like the Trump administration. The US has formally begun withdrawing from the 2015 Paris Agreement. It's the first country to do so. Meanwhile, over in Italy, The government is doing its bit for the climate by changing the school curriculum. It says many subjects in the new syllabus will be taught from a sustainable development perspective. Now, we already know that plastic waste is a huge problem in our oceans, but a new Greenpeace report has found that the majority of it is made up of lost and abandoned fishing gear. It says about 640,000 tons of this so-called ghost gear, such as nets, lines, pots and traps used by commercial fishing vessels, are dumped into the sea every year. Come on guys, it's killing marine life, like turtles, dolphins and whales.
When fishing gear is lost in the oceans without human involvement, it keeps on continuous fishing. So actually it's a sort of circle of death, we always name it, because the fish is getting catched by the net or by the lines. It dies, it attracts other animals, they also die in the same net or in the lines or in the hooks. So it's continuously going. It's just a waste of fish.
Now check this out, this happened at various locations across Berlin. Organizers of a light show projected images on key buildings across the city as part of the upcoming 30th anniversary celebrations of the fall of the Berlin Wall. The wall divided East and West Germany, an ideological divide, so to speak, between communists and capitalists. Scores of people were killed trying to escape East Germany. The wall's destruction in 1989 was symbolic of the end of the Cold War era. Now here's a bit of art for you. An ancient cultural relationship is being kept alive in the Big Apple. Photos of Turkey's Afgamnar church, which was built in medieval times, making it 11 centuries old, are currently on display at a gallery in New York City. Alexia has more.
Here in the heart of New York City, the Akdamar Holy Cross Church comes to life. Renowned Turkish photographer İzzet Kadibar's images are on display, making visitors feel as if they are in Akdamar. More than 1,000 years after its construction, the church continues to be an important symbol of the rich history and culture of Anatolia.
Shahan Arzrouni is a relative of the Armenian king at the time of the church's construction, and his music welcomes visitors. Stoneworking shows stories from the Bible and the Old Testament, and the frescoes are the oldest and most comprehensive examples found in the region. It's the only surviving Armenian cathedral that has most of the wall paintings still intact. The Turkish government began restoration on the church in 2005. It's included in the UNESCO World Heritage List and sees over 10,000 visitors per month.
Now, we often talk about Turkey's cats, but the dogs here also get lots of loving, even the strays. A team of people have been building homes in the city of Bursa for dogs to have a place to take shelter, especially as the winter cold is beginning to set in. And knowing Turks for the way they love animals, the dogs will surely have food and water put out for them by the locals. And for Wednesday's Animals Doing Stuff, here's a wombat named Wilbur. He's an orphan being cared for by animal rescuers in Australia's capital, Canberra. They posted this video 2 days ago on his Instagram page, saying he's able to open the fridge door by himself. Wilbur also enjoys running around the yard, digging tunnels and sniffing humans. Want to follow him? His IG handle is wilbur.wombat. You can check him out and his daily adventures there. Now, that's all from the Newsfeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints, and suggestions at Reagan Explores. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Follow, subscribe, and see you tomorrow.